So you're one of those people that thinks humans are boring, huh? Oh, just you wait, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Hey folks, my name is Pravus, welcome back to more Galactic Civilizations 4. The game was getting some major updates this year, starting with a big patch this month, version 3.2, which rebalanced a few things like map generation, some improvements in text. Also fixed a couple of issues that weren't working quite as intended, but now the game is snappier than ever. And this year, we're planning on at least 2 DLCs to get released, so a lot of content to look forward to. We'll start up a new game in just a moment, but first I do want to say thank you to Stardock for sponsoring today's video. They have been a great friend and partner of the channel for a while now, so I'm thrilled to continue playing some Galciv 4. If you guys want to learn more about the latest changes in Galciv, maybe take a look at their expansion pass options, you can find a link in the description down below. Now, let's go ahead and start up a new game. So there have always been a couple of different variants of human empires in the game. We've got the classic Terran Alliance. I think just about everybody tries these guys out at some point. They're pretty easy to understand, very vanilla, very adaptable, good in pretty much every circumstance. There's also the Terran Resistance, which is a slightly more militarized version. They had to deal with the Drengan Empire assaults upon Earth some while back, and they learned some lessons from that. But with the Tales of the Terran Alliance DLC released a few months back, we have a new version of the same Terran Alliance led by Bradley, and this one has a slightly different playstyle, some already mature and established techs and culture which makes them different from all the other humans. And that's what we're going to play with today. Now, one of the big advantages of the humans is that they're a very inquisitive folk. They start off with some explorer's traits here, which means they have a bit of extra ship range, sensor range. They boldly go where no man has gone before, right? That whole trope. They also are pretty likable folks and very productive thanks to our individualism. I'm going to modify this a little bit though. I'm going to say we're not as good at being veterans and stuff. We're a young race. We're also not good at lying and we're not very intimidating. That's just going to have to be what it's going to be. Let's get some extra points in productivity, slightly faster ships, and let's say we're influential, because Hollywood movies are popular even in the galaxy. And as far as who we're going to be playing against today, let's toss in these little guys over here. The Furbies should be fun. Maybe some of the Drengan, since we don't really like them anyway. No, better yet, let's add in the Korath, a specific clan of the Drengan. These guys are genocidal, and they actually got some updates recently as well, I believe, which, yeah, they're kind of scary. In total, we'll have about 6 players on this map. Seems reasonable. I should increase the difficulty, though. Hang on. There we go. Much better. All right, here we go. I already like this description, by the way. Despite being the youngest race in the galaxy, the Terrans are perhaps the most dangerous. Oh, that's what I like to hear, man. They present themselves as peaceful and diplomatic, but they possess a flair for violence. You better believe it. So let's go ahead and colonize Mars pretty much immediately. I think that's going to be a good idea. And start looking for some stars that I can colonize. I'm trying to remember which stars are likely to have habitable planets. I think yellow stars have a decent chance. Different stars do different things. I don't remember all the orders. We'll just go over here and take a look. Maybe we can find something cool. Oh, we did already. Look at that. We found Lion Rock. Not a great planet, but it's something. Let's get to our executive order. I'm going to go ahead and draft another round of colonists using what control I have. Let's toss those onto Artemis. Artemis? What freaking world is Artemis? Whatever. It's mine now. And then starting off on Earth, what do we have over here? An Echoing Heartstone artifact. Boosts influence of a world. Could be useful eventually. The Ancient Wonder, I'm just going to say that's a pyramid. That's probably intentional. Decent amount of production, some science, some food options, some money. Okay, it's kind of a weird layout for a planet with the continents, but I guess it is what it is. Is this North and South America, and then we've got like Europe and Africa? I'm going to go with yes. And as usual, I want to build myself maybe a couple of extra probes, because the faster I can explore the area, the better. And for technology, I guess colonial policies are probably the best option for me right now. And as far as some starting resources, what do we have over here? Well, we got ourselves some Durantium. That's going to be quite useful. I'm paying attention to some of the nearby resources we'll start with because that tells me probably what kind of weapon tech we want to go for. I'd like to avoid lasers this time around. I do think that kinetic weapons and missiles tend to be superior, so if we can find some of that stuff, that would be ideal. Also, hello, a Class 20 colonizable core world. Okay, I think we know we're going to colonize over there at some point soon. Now, taking a look at some ministers, we've got a few options over here. This leader is phenomenal for us. Really good diligence, really good intelligence. What's more important to me, exploration or science here? I think, honestly, the early game, it's kind of really important we get some very, very solid exploration going, so the extra movement and ship range is going to be very nice. And then, yeah, let's just go ahead and boost up our science a little bit. Oh, hello, another colonizable world over here. Molevdenu. barren world, size 22, pretty good resources. Lots of money generation over here, actually. Okay, so we've already found a really good trio of core worlds that I can use. That's pretty good for the start of the game, honestly. Already met some aliens, the Torian regime. Hi, your eyes are like flickering around a lot. Are you having a hard time like paying attention to my face? Is that what's going on? I probably shouldn't make fun of the guy. You never know. He might try to kill me later. Now, we can get our first round of policies. What would make sense here? Could get ourselves just some extra science straight out. Pretty good on the homeworld. Lots of growth for our population wouldn't be a bad choice. I do want a lot of this, but I think I'm just going to go for the straight science right now. Mine's a little bit on the low side, and I'd like to have a bit more, just so I can chunk through some of these early techs. Now, we can get our first of the individualist ideologies. Humans, weirdly, are one of the few individualist nations in the game. I'm not too sure why it's such a rare thing, but we're very special for that. Anyway, less attrition for colony ships. Basically, it just means the more non-core colonies we have, the more of its resources we get to keep. Because remember, having those little colony worlds far away from your core worlds means that a lot of the resources degrade. So this just makes us a little bit more reliant in that way. We also got ourselves another frigate. We get the Independence. Cool. Go survey more anomalies. Find me more good stuff. Also got myself a construction ship. Helpful. Could go for a quick little economic starbase around Earth, trying to build a few things up. Might not be bad. I'd also love to be able to extract some of this durantium. Do we need that right now? Maybe not this exact second. Let's get that economic starbase going, make our core world a little bit better. Just boost up my manufacturing and income for now. Eventually we'll add in some extra modules, which, by the way, I think the Terran Alliance, at least this version of the Terran Alliance, got some extra new modules in the game. Looking forward to finding those. Oh, this is fun. We found ourselves an Archaean Stargate. We could get a whole bunch of resources and some traditionalism, or I could start activating some hyperlanes to a random star system. I like the idea of being able to move rapidly between some stars, so we'll try that, see if we can get one activated. Okay, hey, that's great. It's really close to where I want to place down a colony anyway. Another large core world opportunity down over here, by the way. Awesome. Okay, so we've got at least 4 worlds, including Earth, that I will be able to turn into proper core worlds. That's a very strong economic base. And number 5 over here! Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I guess I should point out, by the way, one of the things that is different about the Terran Alliance. So we have a totally different tech tree than a lot of the different civilizations will have, including the other versions of the Terrans. It's really broken down into a couple different things. We have civilian, military, and innovation. In some ways, you might actually argue that this is a slightly simplified tech tree and that there's maybe a few less options, but they're very, very powerful too. Because normally I think the Terrans have, what is it, construction, governance, warfare, and engineering, I think. But a lot of that's been condensed here. So what you're going to find is that some of these individual techs offer a lot of value right up front. Like, we're going to be able to ramp up some pretty cool features very, very early on in the game. Although I think it may take a little bit longer to research some of these. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong, but I think that's the gist of it. Oh, looks like we found the Torians, by the way. I think they're up here around this star system. Okay, well, the more I can cut them off from grabbing any other core worlds, the weaker they're going to be and I have a chance to ramp up. So that's what I'm going to make sure we do. These core worlds are mine, you fool. I got a hyperlane, so I get around extra fast. You've got nothing. Ha ha, neener neener. But hey, if you'd like to do some trading later on, just let me know. I'm very good at making money. It's an Terran tradition. More individualism is available to me. Let's see, get some free leaders and all citizens get some stats. That could be very good. Or private property rights, extra upgrade slots to the orbit of every planet. That's pretty darn good. I'm gonna take self-determinism because I think that that's gonna be solid, but they're all really good. Individualism's one of the better trees, in my opinion. Very, very strong. And getting a bunch of free leaders is just like amazing. I mean, how could I possibly say no? All right, so we got ourselves a good couple of colonies. I'm gonna start rushing out some construction ships from here, though. Because I can see things like, let's say, 3 Illyrium right next to each other and a few other things. I know the AI does have a tendency to start prioritizing grabbing a lot of this stuff, and it messes with the borders and denies me key resources. So now that I've got some economic base building up, let's make sure we just assert our dominance in our borders in a few of these spots, and then we can go back to colonizing again. More individualism. Autonomy. Governors get loyalty. More policy slots is pretty great. Citizens get +3 to all of their attributes. These are all solid. What do I want here? I mean, the extra attributes is pretty solid as long as you keep your people nice and happy. They're all just more effective at their jobs, right? So that seems solid. On the other hand, loyalty, policy slots, and then of course there's always the orbital upgrades. There's a lot of good options here, actually. I think I'll just take the extra attributes for all of my citizens. I don't have a massive population yet, but because I have 3 planets all building up, it should start growing faster and faster, right? You think? Oh, okay. Looks like the Torians found their expansion opportunity. They found a ruined ringworld, which I probably would have found if I had gotten subspace scanning a little faster, but okay. Well, that's going to be a problem. Their culture's probably going to be pretty high. Willing to bet that since the AI can't expand a lot, they're going to invest very heavily in building up influence and just trying to expand their borders, at which point they might actually just take things from me. So we might have some early aggression to worry about, I'm not sure. Ugh, and see, now the Torians are being aggressive trying to grab some of these resources. This is what I'm talking about. They do these kinds of things. They're just like, we're just going to go ahead and fight you over every tiny little thing. Jerks. All right, we're going to have to kill them. We already knew that was likely, though. I'm a pretty aggressive player. Well, we can go ahead and grab this cultural relic right over here. This precursor tech sometimes makes it a little bit easier for us to maintain some culture. That'll be nice. I just always lose the culture game, you know? That's just my thing. I focus on science and production and then go kill things, and everyone else out-cultures me. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm cultured too, dang it. Also, call me crazy, I don't think that people should be allowed to place a starbase right on your borders and then mine in your territory like this. This just seems like an infringement upon my rights. And I'll tell you right now, we Terrans take individual property rights very seriously. Okay, we have frigate engineering done. That means I can start building out some slightly larger ships. They're not massive, but, you know, a little bit helps. Go ahead and unlock privacy rights for all of our citizens. That's going to boost up their approval by a pretty substantial amount, so that makes it easy to maintain my empire. Competitiveness with individuals, we get raw wealth. That could be great. And then leaders, more approval, and so on. Eventually, sovereign identity, resistance against foreign influence. Yeah, that could be a good way of resisting the cultural boost of the other Torians, maybe. What I really want to do, though, if I'm going to fight against the Torians, is try to start rushing toward cruiser tech. Planetary invasion would help with that. What would it take for me to get there, though? Military tech, blah, blah, blah. So we've already got frigate engineering, planetary invasion. That leads to the cruiser architecture down over here. Yeah, long-range cruiser deployments would be great. They'll be a little expensive. I'm not even sure if I have enough production to justify these, but if I can start getting some big, medium cruisers, that would be a pretty good way to have a huge military advantage over the Torians, and we could just remove them from the game, I think. Oh, we met the Furbies! Hi, guys! Do you have anything worth trading? You have no techs that I don't have. Well, you're useless then, aren't you? So what kind of fleets are we looking at with these little guys over here? You've got... Oh, they've been building a bunch of frigates of their own. Yeah, I really think that I have got to start getting myself some of those cruisers before we do any attacks. Can we see anything as far as, like, what you've got on you? You've got a bomber module, okay, and Helios rockets. That's it. So they're just rocket boats. They're not very strong, to be honest, but they have some serious range to them. Okay, we've got cruisers on the way, 11 months, and we'll be able to start constructing those big boys. By the way, this star sector over here looks to be, like, completely empty somehow. No players, really. So if I get in here quickly, we could actually grab quite a lot of good stuff. A size 41 world? Did I just see that correctly? Oh my god. That's like the biggest planet I think I've ever seen. Too bad it's just outside of my range, but if we can fix that, oh my god. What the heck are these little guys? Slumbering snugglers? They're kind of cute little blob guys. Aw, they're awesome. They look like they're from Slime Rancher. Yeah, I'll bring them home as nice little pets. Hopefully they're not like tribbles or anything. All right, there's my cruiser tech. Massive, absolutely massive. So now we'll try designing a new proper hull with that in mind. I like this one. Can't imagine why, but it just sort of evokes nostalgia or something. Oops, somebody actually is in this sector over here. I guess I just hadn't discovered them yet. Either that or the Onyx worms have been moving really fast over here all of a sudden. I'm inclined to think I just hadn't properly found all their stuff yet, which is weird, but okay. Well, they're going to be a target for us at some point in the future. Ugh, the worms are indeed expanding. This was their original sector. Look at this. They're grabbing all this territory for free, uncontested. It's because I had so much fleet range, apparently. All right, so they're going to be a very long-term threat if we can't find a way to deal with them. All right, so that's a handful of fleets done. So how we want to handle this? I think we'll try to take out this ruined ringworld first. Should be easy enough, and then we send everything I've got up here. This is going to take some time to unpack, and it depends on how many of these military stations and stuff they have. I mean, it could be a pretty serious problem. If they've got like 40 ships sitting around, even though I have superior cruisers, it's gonna be painful. Well, I guess the time has come to destroy you. We should be able to wipe out this small little fleet right here. So let's just go ahead and see what this does, because again, I've got a lot of Lancer class cruisers full of kinetic weapons, plus some ion weapons just to knock out their evasion, and then a handful of small fighters and stuff which should be able to help as well, and a caretaker in order to make sure I can repair my fleet more rapidly. Losing a fighter or two wouldn't be a big deal. They've got the range advantage on me, which is a serious problem. Yeah, it's all those missiles. If I had some proper point defense, it wouldn't be so bad. But kinetic weapons are really difficult to dodge, fortunately, so I think we're going to be able to win this pretty easily. Yeah, kinetic weapons are just destroying them right now. They do so much damage once you get within range. So I took a tiny bit of damage, but I didn't lose a single ship, and it should repair quickly. That's perfect. That's what you want to see. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty serious comp. They may have a lot of these, but they're worthless. One thing that's great is with this fleet and our particular flagship, we have Hive Base 1, which includes a bunch of fighters on it that regenerate over time, so that's great. And all allied ships within its area of effect are going to repair a little bit per turn. So with this, we might be able to keep our fleet pretty sustained for a long push. That said, I'm hoping not to have a long push. I just need to survive the oncoming onslaught and then hit these 2 planets, and I think they're done. 2 months to assault this world. Shouldn't be too bad. Okay, I see a bunch of their ships coming over here. They've got, looks like 3 separate fleets over here. That's a little scary. We would take some casualties fighting this for sure. Ugh. Do they even have any, like, invading forces, though? Because I don't know if they do. If all they've got is a bunch of flagships and some, like, bombers and stuff, then I don't think they can invade anything. They can only cause damage. And if that's the case, then as bad as this is, it's just as viable to say, well, let's go take this ring world, move up here, take your capital world, and then your entire empire collapses. Because I think those are the only core worlds they have. And I think that's exactly the strategy I'm going to go for here. Let's see what we can pull off. There we go. Invasion is complete. Suffer, Torians! This ring world is mine. Yeah, they're trying to attack me again now. It's just not gonna work. Not with what you're sending after me, and if you just do damage to a bunch of my free assault fighters, like, who even cares? Those are super expendable. So let's see how good these kinetic weapons end up being. I mean, we're pretty decently in range here. So these frigates are going to get targeted first and foremost. Sure, we lose like a fighter, but I mean, it's not like those aren't hard to replace. Also, are these your flagships? Because if they're your flagships, then this is a really stupid plan attacking me with this. Suicidal, even. Boom goes the dynamite. Okay, so we lost 2 fighters, but are they 1 assault fighter and 1 actual fighter? Okay, so like, not even a big deal. I don't know what this negotiator thing is. This thing actually is surprisingly strong, this flagship right here. Huh. Well, we've got to try to take it down, see what happens, but that actually can do some damage to me. We lost a couple of fighters. Oh, not even a big deal. Let's go ahead and kill off the rest. It's like, medium casualties! I'm like, am I going to lose a cruiser? No, you're going to lose a couple of fighters. Well, I don't care. Like, what on earth makes you think that fighters are that important to me? They're designed to be expendable. Now, let's just go ahead and destroy your shipyard so you can't get any more reinforcements. Bye! Oh, great, but now the worms are attacking me. Disappointing, but not a surprise. This is exactly why I placed down a military base right over here to block off this substream hyperlane right here. I want to make sure that anything that comes through I can easily start shooting. But there's another good reason why we need to take over this world, and fast. I don't feel like sitting around and getting invaded. Can we please have peace? No! No, we may not. I will destroy you. All of this influence is gone. If I don't, he's just going to take over Ether through culture anyway. How the Torians have better culture than humans, I couldn't tell you, but apparently they do. So, it's going to take us about 3 months to fully take over this planet. Could also do some surface invasions. It kills a bunch of citizens and stuff, but to be honest, there's a few too many of them anyway, so I'm fine with it. There we go. They're dead. Ha 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 ha! And now I just have to take over all your stupid little colonies. Cool. So, let's get down over here and get ready to face off against the worms. Also need to get myself a bunch of constructor ships so we can take over all those resources that we otherwise had lost. There's a bunch of antimatter to be had over here, some more down this direction, blah, blah, blah. But I'll be good to grab now. Good God, the worms have stuff down over here too? These guys have been going crazy. Has no one been fighting them at all? They're just building an empire across 3 different star sectors? Jeezums, dude. Well, at least now I have this entire sector to myself, which is great. It does still take a very long time to move my fleet across the star sectors, which is a little unfortunate. I'd like to move faster so I can go take the fight to these guys, but apparently that's not going to be an option, so we'll just sit back and get a lot of tech. Does anybody have any techs that I don't have? It sure doesn't look like it. I feel like I might be technologically superior to everyone now that the Torians are gone. Which is great. I could sell some basic tech, like planetary invasion, just to start getting some credits per month, and see if I can support my economy a bit more that way. That could be useful. And then who knows? Maybe they start getting in each other's face and fighting some more. Okay, let's get a good look at these worms and see what they've got here. So they have cruisers, okay, and then a whole bunch of teeny-weeny little bombers. So what do you have on these cruisers, though? That's the real question. Star furnaces, so they can get manufacturing out of it. That's an interesting choice. A couple of kinetic cannons. They've got some armor, and that's about it. Okay. So the way that shields and armor work in this game, by the way, shields are really good at blocking a bunch of small little attacks. So if you want to take down somebody's shields, what you want to do is have big alpha strike weapons. That's the way that works. Armor is the opposite. Armor is mostly good at taking down those big weapons, but they fall apart getting shred by small guns. So if your enemy has nothing but armor, usually that means you want to have a lot of very fast-firing weapons. That works pretty well. But if they've got a lot of shields, go for the alpha strike. I really hope I didn't just mix that up, but I don't think I did. Alright, I've refit my ships so that they have some new thulium guns on them, since I was able to buy a lot of that, so now our kinetic attack has gone up a decent amount. We've got some good armor. I think we start taking the attack to the worms. Let's knock out some of those mining stations and claim them for ourselves, shall we? Oh, hello, we already found some of them. So what do we have here? Looks like just a bunch of bombers. Do I look scared of bombers? I don't think so. Whoa, maybe I am scared of bombers. What do you got here? Some frigates, corvettes, a cruiser. It says this would be heavy casualties. Really? This may end up being a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Let's find out. I mean, if I just lose all my assault fighters and they call that heavy casualties, I guess I don't care. They're targeting my frigates pretty heavily, to be fair. Like, 20 shots is enough to shred through almost all of the armor. So, let's see what we can do. We are focus firing down a few of their targets. There we go. Alright, so say goodbye to one of your frigates. Still haven't lost any of my big boys yet. Can we take down their frigates and their cruiser? I think we might be about to lose a handful of fighters. Okay, they lose the last frigates. We may want to change up the doctrine of our cruisers to target their cruisers first or something. That might be wise, but I see a bunch of their bombers going down, and now we're focus firing on the cruiser. I mean, so far I think this seems fine. Boom. Yeah, we didn't lose any of the big ships. I think this was totally okay. So we lost 3 little ships. Oh no, who cares? Fine. Now that's how you assert some dominance, am I right? We'll of course start by taking down all of the worms' local shipyards, then see if we can't clear out some of the defenders, which will cost me the rest of my fighters, but I mean, like, oh well. I'd love to just take these worlds just so I can quickly get myself a shipyard, and then with a shipyard I can start reinforcing, and that'll make it a lot easier to continue our sustained push. I want this sector, dang it. Ooh, battleship foundries. Yes. Yes, even though that's going to take a little while, I want to get that tech. If I can have battleships, then that's probably good enough to destroy. What you really want to do is work your way toward carrier doctrine. Carriers are so gosh dang good because each of the fighters within, I think, uses all 3 weapon types. That means missiles, kinetic, and beam, so they're pretty great at just shredding through the enemy. Get a bunch of these, a couple of little battleships for an alpha strike, and you're good to go. Whoop, okay, big fleet coming in now. Alright, so this is the one with one of those big cruisers. Loads of bombers. See, I've only got 5 Lancers here, plus like a little caretaker to repair them. So I should take a lot of losses here, and I might. And those are a lot of missiles, like, to be fair. That's a lot of missiles that are going to shred through my armor very quickly. This is where I wish that I had some shield tech unlocked, but I don't so far. Yep, there goes one Lancer. That's what I was afraid of. Yeah, lost a couple of big ships there, unfortunately. Didn't do nearly as much damage as I would have liked. Holy crud, we took some damage. Those missiles shredded me. I need shields, dude. That's what I need. Why do you get to attack me immediately afterwards, by the way? That seems unfair. Very unsportsmanlike. How dare you? What I've learned out of this is I need some ships that are better at targeting down some of their bombers, their small ships, instead of focus firing on frigates when I'm getting wrecked by missiles. That's what we need to do. Tell you what, we're going to design a new type of cruiser, and this thing's entire job is basically just to be a screening ship. Oh, now the worms say that they miscalculated. I am far stronger than they thought. Yeah, they're trying to buy me off. No. Not until I, at the very minimum, take this other planet off of you just to screw with you. And that is a minimum. If I can, I'd like to kick you out of this entire sector. Oh, wait a minute. They've got actually quite a few ships on the way over here. Lots of siege ships. You know what? Actually, maybe now is a good time to just end this war. Because I'm not really in position to deal with this right now. So if you still want peace, we could arrange this. Let's come to some terms, yeah? No? Oh, okay. I mean, you were perfectly happy to give up earlier. I'm not sure what had to change, but okay. Well, I'll just use a little teleport wormhole and say goodbye to one of your fleets. Boom! Haha! Where did it end up? Nobody knows! Isn't that fun? Oh wait, now they actually do want to do a ceasefire. That's a lot of money for us to give up, but I guess I'm okay with it, because I'm about to get battleships. This buys me time to rebuild my navy in a pretty nice way, and he can't do anything. So our next fight, I can definitely do a lot of damage and I'll be in a much better position. Which is good, because these cruisers and stuff are actually fairly dangerous. Like, he's got some pretty decent ships here. One thing that is good to see is, as I'm looking at all these different other races, my science score is substantially higher than any of them. So this actually means that the longer I sit around here, probably the better off we're going to be. It's a long game, it's a long play, but we can outscale them with superior technology. And as long as I have decent production, which, you know, it's pretty good, we will eventually just have the higher quality ships, and we can take on whoever we want. We already kind of knew this was true, but it's good to see, like, it's confirmed. So let's go ahead and design a new battleship. As far as who they're supposed to target, generally speaking, probably the big boys, capital ships. This is going to be my Alpha Strike. I don't even have very good upgraded weapons, though. That is one thing that makes me kind of sad. Still, I feel like we have to keep relying on this good missile and kinetic weapon setup. A couple of missiles for just the long-range explosives wouldn't be a bad idea. Follow that up with maybe a couple of kinetic guns just so we have some options if enemies getting close. Seems good. We have Illyrium, so shields are actually no problem for me at all. And then antimatter pulse network. What does this do? Intercepts what? Missiles? Yes, that's something I want. Ooh, there's a big fleet of 27 ships flying around over there. Look at all those bombers. See, that's the thing. I'm getting all these big anti-capital ships, but I've got to make sure I have ways of dealing with the bombers too, or they really are going to be a problem. Conquest Mastery is going to help with this a lot, by the way. Logistics is one of your biggest bottlenecks in the game. Plus 16 more logistics means I can fit a lot more ships into a single fleet. So now it's pretty easy for me to take these large battleships and toss them into the pile. I still have a little bit room for more. Alright, worms, I think it's time to get some payback now. You heard me, we're taking you down, boy. Because this time I've got myself a whole bunch of anti-bomber corvettes and frigates and such ready to go, a couple of cruisers designed specifically for that, plus a battleship or two. That should give me a nice power boost. So with any luck, I can knock out one of these core worlds rather quickly, go and deal with all of these over here, just cut some economic power, keep taking out shipyards, and then just hold you at this area right here. That's my goal. Now, this star sector right over here, I have no idea if anyone's up there. All the players are accounted for, right? We already killed one, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This star sector up over here may be completely unclaimed territory. If so, we should probably try to find a way to take it over, especially if I can get all that Illyrium and everything else. What I really need is dang thulium, though. I can't keep upgrading my kinetic attacks without it. Anyway, say goodbye to your shipyards. We'll grab this planet. It's only going to take 3 months. That's fine. Oh boy, these guys are starting to build some big ships now. Forget just the bombers. Lots of invaders, cruisers, and stuff. Yeah, they're kind of doing what I've been doing. What are they strapping on these dang cruisers, man? Marines? Point defense modules certainly doesn't help me. They've got a lot of shields. And just a couple of weapons. Okay, actually a lot of weapons. 4 weapons and some shields apparently are worth a lot. Okay. Well, I've only got to hold out for like another month, and then this planet will fall and all these borders will collapse, at which point I could safely end the war and be okay. Oh, he wants to be done. No, we're not done for one more turn. Ask me again tomorrow. All right, I accept ceasefire. Let's end this. I just lost a whole bunch of ships, unfortunately. But this, once again, has done some serious damage to them, so they have no planets left in this system. So if I want to start constructing some military stations around here to ward them off, we can try doing that. This is proving to be really tough. This guy is, yeah, he's giving me a run for my money. Big time. This is a really important tech here, by the way. Miniaturization. Super duper useful for us. Why? Because now I'll be able to shove more stuff onto each of my individual ships. Like all of them. So this can greatly increase your firing power. So, like, now I've got 8 extra space I can put onto these Lancers, for example, and that's worth a whole extra weapon, or maybe some additional defenses. The really annoying thing is that I have to go into these fleets and actually start upgrading all these ships, refitting everything. I kind of wish there was like a mass refit option. Maybe there is, and I've never found it, but it would actually make my life a lot easier. But like this fleet just jumped up from like 28 attack power up to 37 or something like that. Like it's a pretty substantial improvement. Don't ever sleep on the miniaturization. It's so useful. The amount of power you get per logistic point is substantial. Oh. And the Onyx Hive attacks again. Really? Okay, I mean, sure, why not? And these guys really are stinking aggressive, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Well, glad I placed down a military base right out here besides this slipstream so they can't easily get into my territory anymore. And then, we're ready to launch another assault. So you attacked me at the exact right time. Not the smartest thing I've ever seen, but if that's what you want to do, okay. The reason he's attacking is because the balance of power says he still has a much stronger set of fleet power than I do. Like, much stronger. And it may actually be true. He might just be stronger. But I do know his production and his research are nothing compared to mine, so he's done nothing but militarize society, but like, as long as I can keep this going and just sort of not be stupid, I think we can completely obliterate him. What I'd love to do is have enough fleets to run around and just kill all of his shipyards. Then it's a matter of whittling the guy down. My gosh, these guys are doing some serious damage. Holy crap. I actually don't know how they're designing such effective ships, but they are. Like, I've upgraded my ships so much. I'm using so many special materials, and I know from intelligence these guys are using, like, the base weapons. So I'm kind of surprised they're as effective as they are. Maybe they have some extra miniaturization technology I don't, and that's why they're just fitting so many weapons on there, or maybe I'm just not very good with my doctrines. I feel like my targeting's about on par. Like, I'm trying to shoot down a lot of their small ships and frigates and stuff, while I have some big guys, like this battleship, just laying into this cruiser over here. And yet, somehow, I'm going to take big losses, and I know it. It's their, I think it might actually be their point defense. Like, their point defense is doing some serious work in preventing any of my missiles from hitting them. So maybe that's it. Maybe I just need to get rid of all missile systems. It's just not working right now. All right, well, my large ships did manage to survive a lot of that. Fortunately, the shields did a lot. So as bad as this looked, it wasn't actually that bad. Look at this. Look how many ships this guy's got. Jeez, man. I am not finding an angle where I can beat this. I think we're just gonna have to abandon this planet for the time being. It was fun while it lasted, but since the shipyard got blown up, there's really not much I can do here right now. So we need to fall back to a better position. I've got some reinforcements on the way, so I mean, we'll see what we can do here. I can launch little antimatter bombs over here, though, which is pretty cool. Boom! I don't know if that actually does. Oh my god, it shredded those ships! Whoa! Okay. So this is one of my flagship abilities here. Does damage to all ships and star bases within a 5-tile radius. I think I just shredded, like, all of the bombers. Ooh, that was pretty cool. So let's go clean up a bunch of these ships then while they're nice and weak. This is exactly the sort of thing we want to see. Okay, here we go. And then we back it on up, get behind a military starbase, and do some repairs like a coward. I don't care. If it works, it works. Toss another antimatter at these guys, blow up a couple of their bombers, make this easy, go boom, thank you. And I might as well finish this off so you all die, okay. We're burned through almost half their fleet already. The good news is it looks like we've kind of evened out our fleet power. I haven't taken very many losses, but he's clearly lost a lot, so that's good. Okay, we have our carrier class now. So with these carriers, what you can do is place in these bomber bay modules. I've never used these before, but they should be pretty darn strong, I would think. And if I set this up to be a command ship, we could have some of these that are basically just going to boost up all of our other ships in a fleet. That could be pretty strong. Got a carrier fleet on the way over here with a whole load of siege equipment. Doesn't say it has a lot of attack value on it, but that's because it's deceptive. These carriers are going to have so many free fighters that hopefully will do a lot of the work for me. You know, the annoying thing, though, I'm about to get miniaturization again, so another 30% capacity on my ships. I'll have to refit everything all over again. Yay! Oh, and the Kryn Syndicate just got killed by the Furbies. Hey! What did you guys... You guys are supposed to be nice little pacifists. Why you go kill all the other guys? Oh, I don't know if I trust those giant eyes anymore. You looked all cute, but it turns out you're deadly. All right, he's scrounging at this point. He's sending in small little fighter groups. He can't afford to build any more carriers. Or cruisers, I should say. Good. Okay, finally, I think this war is about to swing in our favor. Here we go. Taking down the shipyard around their capital world. That's great. Just need to get my invasion party here and we can land, take that planet, and then as they start losing their economic base, it's all going to be over. And say goodbye to your 2 other shipyards. Okay. All right. This was painful, but we got it. This is the hardest I've ever had to work in Gal Civ 4, by a long shot, actually. The AI is... been pretty intelligent. I don't know how much of this to attribute to the fact that they had uncontested expansion into a second zone up here for so long. If I had been able to fight them a lot earlier, maybe this would have been different, but oh boy. Either way. Alright, so the Furbies remain. I'm not going to touch them for a bit. These guys exist. I just want to punish the worms. If I can just take their capital world, this world here, I know that they will be so weakened from there on out that at this point, it'll be a runaway game. This is going to be the deciding conflict, and I think they're already out of gas. Like, look at this. If I bring in all of these carriers, look how many free little drone interceptors I receive. I mean, let's just see what this little thing can do. Look at these little guys firing all the lasers. They're a-firing the lasers! And if all of them die, who even cares? I'll just rebuild more. It's like playing Protoss. I got unlimited interceptors. Boom, that didn't even take long. Oh, yeah. These guys are good. So we'll begin the siege in 3 turns that falls. Please give up! No ceasefires. You wanted ceasefires the second you saw the numbers flip in my favor. We call that cowardice. It's the sort of thing I would do, but I expect better of you. Whoa, where'd you get a fleet of 18 more ships? How do these guys keep doing this, man? I tell you what, oh my gosh, they're everywhere. Well, they're mostly just fighters. Hold on, where's my nuke? There's my nuke. Let's see how well this nuke does for us. Big antimatter bomb go boom! And it kills 8 of their ships. That's not bad. And the rest we easily clean up. Perfect. And then there's just one more little shipyard here around Rigel, which means all space production is now officially done. Oh my god, and there it is. The Onyx Hive has been destroyed. That's what you get, you stupid worms! You think you can take me on? You think you can harass me for half the game? No! I win. I always win. So, quick question. There's only 2 players left. How strong are they? Okay, apparently the Mimalt are pretty strong. Oh my god, how did they get so strong? Jeez, they've been doing nothing but building a million ships for a bunch of pacifists. This doesn't seem very pacifistic. I don't even know how their technology score is so high. They have nowhere near my level of research rate. This is confusing to me. Very confusing. They've only got 1 tech that I don't have. Yeah, this is one of those things where, like, if I were a bit smarter, maybe I'd understand how this is calculated. But I'm not, and I don't, and, I don't know, but regardless, these guys are now a military powerhouse to be afraid of, and I'm not gonna deal with them right now because you've got your little star sector. I'm about to have 3.5, eventually 4, and then 5, and we can just go our separate ways. All seems well to me. Especially since from here on out, I'm just gonna build a million carriers, and then there's nothing you can do. Most importantly though, let's watch the borders change once the worms have been removed from the map, which is coming up right about now. There we go. Okay. Well, I was expecting my borders to grow a little bit more than this, but it's nice to see all of the cancerous tumors removed from the system. So, okay, all is well with the world. Wow, man, that was tough. That was legitimately extremely tough. These guys gave me a run for my money and then some, I'll tell you. Woof, but I feel pretty good having taken them down. Definitely the highest difficulty I've personally taken on in Gal Civ 4, so the fact we managed to get through it, I feel pretty happy with myself. It only took me 8 hours to do so, but I feel pretty good. In case you're ever wondering if this game has enough replayability, hundreds of hours of gameplay if you want. Hundreds, maybe thousands. It's all right there for the picking. Thank you once again to Stardock for sponsoring today's video. As always, had a lot of fun with Gal Civ 4. If you guys want to learn more about the game and the latest updates or the expansion pass, you can find a link in the description down below. And of course, look forward to some new content coming out later this year. In the meantime, please consider hitting that like button if you did enjoy this video. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.